Hello, my friends. Today I wanted to introduce you to a beginner course that I've created for the piano, which I'm super excited about. Now, this is called Complete Piano Path Level A, and it's a course that I created and released back in November for its first run. So now that the original batch of people who have been going through it have been going through it for quite a few months already, I'm ready to open it to a new group of total beginners. I wanted to, in this video, share with you what you can expect from the beginner course, why I am super excited about it, and how I think it helps solve a lot of problems that I see adult beginners or re-beginners at the piano face over and over again. The problem I continually see with adult piano players, time and time again, whether it's in my inbox or in the private lessons that I've taught over the years or in the courses that I've taught, is this sort of ad hoc, disorganized manner of putting together one's piano lessons. And this includes people who even work with a teacher, because not every teacher has kind of like a clear, structured plan. Not every teacher is a very type A personality. So even if you have a teacher, you still might not necessarily have like a clear sense of stepwise progression, but having a teacher could definitely help in that area. A lot of adult learners with and without a teacher tend to find themselves with this feeling of not really progressing, because what they're doing is they're taking lessons from YouTube or online sources. They're kind of patching together things that they like and kind of copying and pasting their own piano path, which can work for a while. But what does tend to happen is this feeling of starting to spin your wheels a little bit, like you're not sure if you're actually moving towards any particular goal. It doesn't necessarily feel like you're getting better. It can be hard to tell if you're actually learning everything you need to learn, or if you're skipping over some really important stuff, if there's significant gaps in your knowledge. It can be hard to tell that when you haven't devoted your life to a particular field, of course. So what I've always been interested in doing, and what I've done for my students for years, is I've tried to create structure for them. I tried to create curriculum. So even back when I was doing in-person private lessons in my home studio, I would start kids and adults alike in basically my own designed curriculum, but one that was compatible with major music schools such as the Royal Conservatory of Music and the ABRSM. So these are two major schools that have grades in music, and grades are great because if you say I have my grade 6 in music or I have my grade 3 in music, it gives you a clear stepwise sense of progression. If you're at a grade 3 level, you know that grade 4 level is going to make you a little better. Grade 5 level is going to make you a little bit better, and so on. So this stepwise progression is really important to me, and I liked to tailor my piano lessons to my students to be able to give them that structure so that if we work together, they would have a sense of continual progress, and they would feel like, hey, I'm actually getting better. I'm actually moving on to a new grade. I'm moving on to a new level. I'm not missing any pieces. There's no holes or gaps in my knowledge at the piano. This has been really important to me, and that's why I created the Complete Piano Path for beginners. So it's a 21-week course that takes someone who has never played piano. Of course, people who have played piano have joined this course already, just as a way to fill in the gaps and build the foundation for their knowledge. But the first 21 weeks are meant, like roughly half year, are meant to take you through the foundations of piano. So everything that you would need to know from the ground up. And this is an accelerated 21 weeks. So I teach in roughly half a year or 5 months what someone might spend a year learning if they're moving at a kind of like a slower, more casual pace, which I'm not really a big fan of, because if you move at too slow of a pace, it's kind of boring, you lose interest, you're not really having that clear, internal, wonderful sense of progress, which I think is absolutely critical when you start learning an instrument. So two things that tend to happen a lot that I try to correct with this course that I've created is the tendency to go at too slow of a pace. So for example, taking a year or two for a single method book. So like if you're going through Alfred for Adults, taking maybe a couple years in Alfred for Adults 1, whereas I like to do that in about 5 months, the first book. This slow pace feels more comfortable, and it's easier to get a mastery on every single piece that you're playing, but it doesn't necessarily foster that kind of enthusiastic, motivated spirit that you're going to need to get you through, ideally, many years of playing piano. And on the other end, I see people who are choosing pieces that are really, really difficult. They're like starting with the Chopin. They're not doing any foundational level stuff. And then they spend 5 months working on a single piece and get the same feeling of not really learning much, not really moving forward much, even though they might have been able to force themselves to play something that they don't quite understand how to play. So that's why with these 21 weeks in Complete Piano Path A, every single week there's a new piece to learn. So you end up learning 21 pieces in total, and it's about a 50-50 hybrid mix of pop, contemporary type music and classical type music that's appropriate for a preparatory level, with varying levels of difficulty. But my students who've gone through this already have mentioned that I do have a pretty fast pace. So it's not going to be like a slow, relaxing trawl through the beginner level materials. It's not going to be like that kind of slow and easygoing feel. It's going to be like pretty intense, but I feel like this is the kind of approach that gets real results. And I've been able to see real results with the students that I've already been working on with. So one of the most exciting and kind of accidental aspects of this course is that we ended up creating a group forum for everyone who was participating. So when I initially launched this in November to a small group of people, I assumed it was going to be like a really small group of people because I didn't really promote it. I didn't really talk about it that much. But over 80 people ended up joining. So I realized, okay, my original plans with how I was going to communicate with students every week had to change because my original plans weren't sustainable. I felt like it needed more organization. So we ended up sort of by accident creating a forum that ended up being one of the most powerful parts of the course for participants, because that forum allowed them to see their fellow participants, their struggles, their successes. Everyone could see each other's video and comment on each other's submissions and recordings. People have started progress logs where it's basically like an online diary where they're tracking what they're accomplishing week by week, kind of like an online practice journal and things like this. The visibility of other members created this strong sense of community and accountability within the group, which I think is one reason that at least some people in the group have been able to keep pace with the material. So this isn't the kind of course where I give you the content for all 21 weeks and say, here you go, you're by yourself, do this at your own pace. This is the kind of event where I encourage you to keep up with the group. So the group is going to be moving through the material 1 week at a time. And I like to try to keep as many people as possible moving through the material at the same time. So even if you have a week or two that is a little bit more difficult for you, you can still move on to the next level, keeping pace with your peers. And I think this can be the difference between finishing a course and just letting it get dusty online, if that were even a possibility. Because one of the biggest problems, and I know this myself because I have purchased many online courses, is just finishing them. It's really challenging to finish something that you've started. Like, how many times have you started piano? I know that there's some of you watching this who have probably started piano multiple times. You pick up a book, you get halfway through it, and then you drop it. So sometimes the biggest missing link, for me, I found this has been true, and I've also found this to be true with the people who have already been going through this course, is going through it with other people can be the difference between success or just having it be another course that you pay for and then don't do anything with afterwards. I think this is one aspect of piano instruction that is missing in the online world, a sense of a school almost, or the feeling of participating in a semester of classes with your fellow comrades in lessons, because piano is ultimately a pretty lonely journey for those of us who are learning it. We do it by ourselves. Sometimes we have a teacher, but it's mostly we play solo. A lot of us aren't playing with groups, and the ability to go through piano courses and learn how to play piano with others moving at the same pace as you is similar in ways to school. And this is a really useful way to learn. And it's something that I feel like is missing in online piano lessons. And it's something that I'm really happy to be able to offer to people. With this course, I want to be able to help you focus, and I want to be able to help you make stepwise progress. Because the reality of the matter is that there's tons of content online. I mean, I've created a ton of content. I've probably like over 450 videos on piano TV alone. That is a ton of content. So it's not between my channel and all the other amazing channels that exist on YouTube, there's so much content to learn from. So I know you're not lacking for content. I know that what most people are lacking for is focus and structure. And that's the reason that I've created this course. And that added benefit of accountability and participation with other people going through the content at the same time is, I think, what makes it so powerful. One of the most exciting and rewarding aspects of teaching this class and teaching piano in general is being able to see progress, being able to watch someone go from their learning stages at the piano to being able to play something that sounds quite sophisticated, to watch that confidence develop and to watch their skills develop, like their sense of reading music, their sense of technical execution, their sense of rhythm, all of these things improve week by week. It's incredibly rewarding, and it's one of my favorite aspects of being a teacher. In the 17 weeks that I've been working with the initial group who have been going through this course, I've received a lot of really positive feedback. People who are retired, people in their 60s or 70s who are finally making really good progress. People who have never played the piano before, who have always kind of thought, this isn't going to be something I can do, this isn't for me, who have been able to learn it. People who have told me that they've always meant to get around to learning piano but haven't yet, and they've finally been able to do it. Or people who have tried learning the piano before, have had various false starts, not really a lot of progress, who have finally started to be able to actually make real progress. It's really awesome to not just create a course for people and hope for the best, but to actually see the progress that real human beings are making as they go through the content, as I give them feedback on their lessons every week and so on. It's amazing to see. So just to reiterate what this course is all about, for those of you who are interested, it is a complete course for beginners. So in this course, I give you basically everything that you need as a beginner. I give you a weekly piece to work on. I give you daily sight reading exercises. I give you a technical exercise for the week. I give you a lesson plan for the week so you know exactly what you're working on each and every week. And I give you tutorial videos for each week's concepts, because every week we learn new concepts, whether it be learning a new key signature or learning about particular rhythms. There are tutorial videos that go with every lesson, plus downloads of all the sheet music, the MuseScore files, and so on. In addition to the 21 lessons with all the tutorial videos and accompanying downloads, I also give you the option to go through method books on the side. So if you wanted to also expand your practice and work through a Piano Adventures Adult 1 book, then I give you kind of a general guideline of these pages correspond pretty well with this lesson. So week by week, you can make progress in a method book in addition to the course content that I'm already creating. And I do this because I think the more you practice, the better. And I also know that a lot of adult beginners already have these method books lying around and have already attempted to work through them or are curious about working through them. And when I teach private lessons in my studio, I also have my students work through method books. So it's something that I don't want to discard. I think it works really nicely alongside this course. So you're going to get 21 weeks of lessons with all the structure, all the downloads and materials that you're going to have access to indefinitely. You're going to get a group forum where you're going to be able to share with others. You're going to be able to see how others are progressing, ask questions of other participants. I'm on the forum sometimes. So that has been huge for other people. The accountability and the camaraderie is really, really key. And then finally, I do weekly feedback sessions. So 3 times a month, I get together with the participants who share their recordings with me on the forum, the recordings of whatever piece they're working on that week in the class, and then I give feedback and commentary on each of these pieces that the person submits. So the weekly feedback sessions combined with the forum, I think, provides a really nice feeling of motivation and accountability. Plus, you do have the opportunity to get feedback on your practice from me personally, as well as hear me give feedback to your peers, which is hugely helpful. And I do have recordings of the feedback sessions up as well on the course content. So if you want to see the feedback that I've given past participants as well, that's an option that's available to you. This course is only going to be available for a limited time. So I keep the sign-up window limited to 1 week. and I'm not going to open it again for another 6 months or so. And the reason for doing this is I like that course participants are able to go through the course at the same time as each other. So they're all working at the same pace, all working together. Whereas if we had people joining randomly, it wouldn't make any sense because then everyone would be at different levels and different parts. So I like starting a batch of people all at the same time, moving through the material all together, and then I'll open up a new class once this one has completed. So if you're a total beginner and you're looking to get started, getting something to kickstart your learning, or if you've started before and you're kind of wanting to go back to basics and build a foundation again, definitely check this course out, and I will catch up with you guys soon.